We see sustainability as a mega trend. The vast majority, 85% of the people, they care. If companies understand the potential that lies in these 85%, it will lead to a revolution.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for this film. I'm excited to be joined today by two experts in this field, Simon-Kucher Co-CEO, Dr. Andreas van der Gathen, and his colleague, senior partner Nicolai Broby Ecker. Welcome, Andreas. Welcome, Nicolai. We've seen a significant shift in consumer attitudes towards sustainability in recent years. Can you share your observations on this trend, Andreas?
We see sustainability as a mega trend. So it's not a new trend, it's long-lasting, and it will continue. Actually, it has taken off, and we did a quite in-depth consumer research in the US and in Europe. And of course, it's with different motivations, also different willingness to pay. But only 15% really do not see sustainability as a critical factor when taking buying decisions. So we believe, and that's why we call our book Demand Revolution, if companies understand the potential that lies in these 85%, it will lead to a revolution.
Could you share some real-world examples of what this looks like in action?
We all have, when we talk sustainability and sustainable consumer, we have a small minority in mind. Someone who really cares, but who also earns enough money to pay higher prices for more sustainable products. We are all used to the sustainable is plus 30% in price. And there you will only get a small minority with those who can afford it. So our idea is to help companies to tap into the potential. And in real life world, that means we need to combine sustainability with cost advantages, not only offering more expensive goods that are sustainable.
Yeah, I agree, Andreas. And I think some industries where we can see this has happened, where we've hit this affordability threshold, has been in electric vehicles. And we're also seeing it with energy. And what we're seeing there is a massive pent-up demand that is being released as soon as these products hit the market. And we believe, and that's also going to happen in other industries, but those industries need to deliver those products at an affordable price because consumers cannot afford a premiumization on their daily lives.
So would you say that you're seeing a difference in the way that consumers are sort of exerting their influence, right, across different countries or different regions?
Yeah, that was actually a very interesting conclusion in our survey because we thought, of course, like a lot of other surveys, that there would be a lot of difference between age groups and geographies and if you lived in the city or on the countryside. But our studies actually showed the opposite. The younger consumers are not changing behavior towards being more sustainable more than older generations. There's a small dip when you have kids, but I think that's very much due to the fact that you need a certain amount of cars and a house and other things. So that's affordability issue again. So that was very interesting. We also didn't see a lot of difference between geographies, so Europe and the US. The differences we saw that were quite peculiar for me being a Scandinavian was in Scandinavia. Of course, we know we personally as a consumer make a difference, but there it was very heavily focused on the politicians need to make a difference. Where in the US or Southern Europe, it was more we as consumers and the companies need to do this together. So that was an interesting fact.
Nicolai, I'm going to stick with you. So how can businesses then sort of reframe the sustainability conversation as a strategic investment rather than a cost burden?
I think this is a great question and a conversation I had with many CEOs and board members. And the challenge here is that you need to reach this point of affordability in order to really, release this pent-up demand and take a massive share of the market. But that also means you can't see this as a short-term price premium play or a profitability play. What you need to look at is the lifetime value of sustainable consumers. And what was really interesting in our studies is that we found that when consumers say, now I want to be green in a certain product category, they spend significantly more time researching products, which is very interesting for companies. Normally, it's really difficult to get through all the marketing noise, but here consumers actually spend time reading the marketing messages. Secondly, once they've chosen a brand or a product, they stick with that brand because they don't want to spend that time again. Thirdly, that also means they're more loyal and more likely to buy more products from that brand. Also, maybe products not directly associated with the brand. So you can actually move outside normal business areas, you could say, because again, now they trust the brand and the messages you bring about. And lastly, they're much more likely to advocate the brand because they're not advocating a brand, they're advocating a personal choice. And that means lifetime value of these consumers are much higher than non-sustainable consumers.
So Andreas, building on what Nicolai is saying, how important is sort of shifting mindsets in leadership?
We believe that is the critical factor. We all still, when we talk sustainability, many people have in mind energy consumption or clothes or things, product categories that are really in focus. And it's different category by category. For example, things you eat or put on your skin, cosmetics, of course, people are even more concerned. So there really a large majority is also willing to pay more. But if a company really wants to make use of what we call demand revolution, companies need to find ways to produce sustainable products without charging the price premium. And that is a mindset change. And many CEOs and CSOs we talk to, they still have a little bit in mind, if I have a sustainable product, I can ask for a higher price. And that limits, of course, consumption. And then you will always only focus on a minority. So this mindset change, hopefully, will come, and I hope our book will contribute to that mindset change. It has to become a real revolution, and sustainability has to become just a normal buying criteria, which from a consumer perspective, it already is. Honestly, the two of us, we believe, based on the study of the consumers, it is the companies that are lagging behind here, which means there is potential for them to tap into.
What an absolutely fascinating discussion. Lots to think about, lots to action. Nicolai, Andreas, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure. Thanks.